Welcome to Common Hood. This your host, Simon P. I'm with my brother Kali, another half of the Conscious Corner. Had to split it all up for these brothers, man. They be so deep. But Kali finna take, not Kali. Dr. Shakur finna take us on a smooth sabbatical about health from a different perspective. But before we jump into that, I do want to give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters that are in South Africa, because today is June 16th. And we don't want to forget that in 1976 is when the children raised up to try to protect the liberation of South Africans, to preserve their history and preserve their language. A lot of negative stuff happened on that day, but I just want to give a shout out to those that are in the motherland in South Africa, and let us not forget about June 16th. It's just funny how we leading up to June 10th. But today, my brother over here, Dr. Shakur, is going to teach us.
Brother Simon, how you doing today?
I'm doing blessed and highly favored, man. Nice seeing you today, my brother.
Good seeing you, brother.
One thing about it, you consistent with your wardrobe. I just want to say that.
Oh, thank you.
And before
consistency is important.
Just give a quick 30-second cap on what you got on again, because we got to keep repeating it, because
it's supposed to come from the, you wear it in Africa, they wear it in Asia. There's nothing really fancy about it. These are like Shakur toe pants, basically worn in
not Gucci, not Prada, not Louis.
Yeah, it's not that.
No, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's cost effective, and they last a long time. And you can wear them for everyday wear, dress wear, workout. It's universal. Before you get into the topic of the day, which is managing high blood pressure from an energy medicine perspective, not amlodipine. I told you I had a touch of blood pressure. They gave me amlodipine, and you were like, "Hold on, brother. That's let's get you a line." But before you get into it, out of curiosity, when you walk any city, do a lot of children ask you questions about your uniform? Various people ask me questions. Sometimes it's children, sometimes it's adults. It's people of all cultures ask me questions.
That's good.
And actually, our people, when they ask questions, I get a chance to go into the history. But I get questions quite a bit. Now, that's always been the case for the last 50 years.
Okay, then. Well, let's get back to this high blood pressure and learn how to manage high blood pressure from an energy medicine perspective. Not with a pill, not with medications, but trying to get a hold of it using energy medicine perspective. And we're not telling nobody to get off their pills if you haven't mastered some of the things that he's going to share with us today. But let me just give you just a few things before I let you go ahead and explain that. They say that Black people are 3 times more to develop high blood pressure and kidney dialysis. That was one of those medication publications say that 32% of all dialysis patients are Black, despite our population in America is only like 12 to 13%. And it's probably a little less than that, because we ain't counting that. I don't know if they count the prison population as well. And one of these things causing is a peripheral vascular disease. It can lead to strokes, which seem to be common. I got a loved one that I assist with taking care of that had a stroke. And it seems now that I've taken care of that situation, it's like I hear it more and more. And it's like a wake up call. Get it together that I'm checking myself. So right off the top, just explain to us, what is energy medicine?
Basically, energy medicine is like organic medicine, and it's natural medicine that have been practiced on this planet for as long as recorded history has existed. So what energy medicine would be today is using healing a person and diagnosing a person, mind, body, and spirit, since we make up all that. Is taking in everything that exists in our environment as a cause not only for disease or imbalance, but also used as a form of healing. So to be more specific, those would be practitioners of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, or 5-element medicine, or an Ayurvedic practitioner, which is practiced in India, or naturopathic doctor, or a practitioner of traditional Tibetan medicine, those would, or Unani medicine. So those are considered the bona fide medical systems that would come up under energy medicine.
I was going to ask you, as you was naming the different practitioners, it's so foreign that if it's foreign to my ear, I was wondering if you can just recap those practitioners, but kind of give it like a 10-year-old term on what is that practitioner known for outside of just treating high blood pressure.
Okay, so all these systems of medicine. So high blood pressure, arthritis, just about any kind of imbalance or disease a person has, these medicines basically can address them. People also need to understand that to be a practitioner of TCM, 5 elements, Ayurvedic, traditional Tibetan medicine, or Unani medicine, one has to go to school for at least 4.5 years, 3.5 to 4.5 years for the base level of it.
Right.
Okay, so this is a complete medicine with a material medica of various herbs and prescription herbs and formulas, where we have to know the diagnosis. Have to know the dosage amount to put in. So it's not this, you just go get some herbs and take them. You have to know the dosage amount, and that's based on diagnosis. And all these medicines, we diagnose the person through the pulse, which helps us read the various internal organs. We also diagnose by looking at the tongue. We also diagnose by urinalysis. And in some systems, we diagnose through iridology.
You say iridology?
Yeah, the eyes.
The eyes, okay.
And there are other diagnostic methods, but those are the main diagnostic methods that these organic systems, which we call energy medicine, these are the protocols.
I got it. I know every field of practitioner you just mentioned, to my other doctors that I've been going to, they've never recommended none of those things. I've always had to seek out, and the most recent was just going to get acupuncture care. I had a severe knee, and I was like, no, I don't want to take that. It's something, it's something different. And one of the things I learned through acupuncture, I think they kind of find wherever the blood leading up to the ache. And I saw a lot of needles around that symptom, and it was this relief for the moment. But if you severely damaged, like I had a severe knee problem, I saw that I should have kept that routine up more, and I could feel the difference of not going when I put down going to the acupuncture.
Well, here are some of the diagnostic methods that are used. Since you spoke of acupuncture, which is primarily done in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and in 5-element medicine, basically we looking at the mind body or soul body. And then you have the energy body. And then the energy body, like an internal wind, moves the blood to help nourish the internal organs, okay? So when one has an imbalance or pain, for example, that's usually a stagnation in most cases, not all cases, of what we call the internal wind. People use the word chi and ki and prana, but I just use the word wind because that we speak English, so people have a better understanding what I'm talking about. So basically what happens is when a person does acupuncture or hits an acupoint, it releases that stagnation at that point so that the energy can flow. Or another way I can describe it is that our human body is like a city from an energetic point of view. So it's an estimate of 72,000 channels that flow throughout the body. There are 14 major thoroughfares. It's like we have small streets, and then we have thoroughfares, and then we have intersections, which people call chakras. But we have intersections on how this energy flows. Anywhere that there is a blockage due to an imbalance of different types or an injury, then you have a traffic jam. Just like if you have a traffic jam in the city with accident, it backs up cars for how long? Or you have road repair. And what have you, that blocks up the smooth flow of the traffic. So it's the same thing with the blood flowing in the body. So acupuncture is like a form of energetic surgery that helps release a blockage that can exist in certain channels. That's not the only diagnostic method. Another is acupressure, where the practitioner will use the finger and press those points. There's also cupping, and I think people have seen cupping, even if they looked at the Olympics where they see the
Yeah,
little
they the
circle.
suction cups.
That's right.
Yes.
That can help move energy. There's something called moxa, a mugwort, where we use either at the end of a particular stick, or we can burn it, or we can. There's various ways we use the moxa that can help heal, and move the energy. Okay. Then there's exercise that goes with that, which we call Qigong exercises or energy exercises. In the Chinese material medical, we would call it Qigong or Tai Chi, which most people are familiar with, or it could be yoga.
Yeah, Tai Chi seem to be emerging right now.
That's right. That's right.
I
But
see it all over YouTube.
all those are like healing methods. They're therapeutic exercises, not just exercises, but they're exercises that help with healing, with prevention and healing for the human being. And they've been around for thousands of years. Now, your previous podcast, you were talking about Imhotep and Kemet. So most of the histories show that Tai Chi, yoga, much of what we call energy medicine existed today, started in Kemet or ancient Egypt. And then it moved. There are histories that show that the first dynasties in China were African. We know that the major civilizations that were in India, where yoga allegedly, they say, comes from, were among the Dravidian people, which were African people. So I just want to add that in there, that the energy medicine is for African American people or African people, depending on how we define ourselves, is a part of our culture, even though other cultures have it also.
Well, on the topic of the high blood pressure, I guess back in the day during the Imhotep era, some of the stress related things or factors that lead to high blood pressure today, I may challenge and say they may not have been there like they are today.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever the reasons, even though we look back in time and say technology has made life easier in some aspects, but yet it has crippled us, kind of like the AI just taking everything away from you, and you don't have to think. You just follow me and I do your thinking for you. So that's something. So some factors that drive high blood pressure, and I'm just speaking from the West because we live in the West.
That's right.
So, stress.
That's right.
What is stress? A lot of time we work on jobs for 30, 40 years, and that's stress alone when you haven't found your passion and you're working for something just to pay the bills, and that goes on for a long time. Every major corner don't have a fresh marketplace for you to buy. It's quicker to put in the Burger King, Checkers, all these different foods that triggers these, because we use a lot of salt to attract the taste buds, and we get hooked on it early. So how much does diet and exercise play into the different practitioners on how much emphasis they place on that to help unblock these energy waves and energy channels that we have inside?
Well, as I said earlier, the Tai Chi energy exercises, and I just use the word Tai Chi, yoga, and other energy exercises, are part of the diagnostic tools that we use, and they play a great role, as well as diet. The medicine state that most diseases or imbalances are based on diet and lifestyle. So all humans, especially people who live in America in this very fast, materialistic, scientific, industrial age that we live in,
You passed the industrial.
are affected by this. But
Right.
more specifically dealing with the African Americans, there are many different statements I can make, but some of it has to do naturally with institutional racism that existed in this country. Definitely the economic situation. So we say, like, the high blood pressure affects the kidney network because of overwork. Most adults in our society, and not just saying this is true of African Americans, probably true for most Americans, but speaking about our community, most people, in order to survive legally, or maybe even illegally, are staying up at least 16 to 20 hours a day. People working 2 jobs. It's very common when I grew up that most people told me their fathers worked 2 jobs, and then once They just drop dead at a certain point. You understand? Trying to pay bills and trying to survive, or working a job and going to school, or working a job, going to school and raising children, doing three things at the same time. And that's just doing those things, not dealing with the stress of driving to work or getting to work, the stress of coming home, the stress of worrying about if you have children, your children, naturally the stress of paying bills, saving money, losing money. And then we can put another component on top of it, which in the case of African Americans, dealing with racial situations that exist previously and to the present day. So those are just some things. And listening to negativity, because the ears connect to the kidneys, and the kidneys is the energy source in the physical body. That's dealing with the nervous system and the kidneys control the waterways in the body. These are some things.
Okay, these are some of the functions you're getting ready to give us.
Functions, the red blood cells.
You're going to give us some functions of it and how the blood cells kind of fit into that equation with damage over time. Yeah.
Kidneys make the red blood cells in the body. I said control the waterways. And these are just some of the functions that they're also responsible for the bone marrow in the body. That's just from an energy point of view, energy medicine point of view, the functions of the kidneys. Psychologically, the kidneys are affected on a negative end by fear. On the positive end, it deals with motivation. So when we look at fear, we can take this on a lot of different levels. From the level of when we are in our mother's wombs, especially with Black folks dealing with from time of slavery, or definitely Reconstruction, when slave masters would beat a slave in front of pregnant women, and women would get that response that would send that fear into that child, or seeing a person lynched, or worrying, or seeing the cases that we've seen in history of the various Black towns, where there were over 300 Black towns in America, and all of them were burnt to the ground by the United States government, as well as the Ku Klux Klan. And we hear about naturally Rosewood and Black Wall Street as being two examples, but there are another 298 other examples.
What would be a modern today fear? Because those are extreme that I can understand the affections.
Well,
when I think of fear today, I'm thinking, you just mentioned that, like, my father and mother both worked 2 jobs. Even though we had a small front yard and a small backyard, we never went hungry, and we never faced homelessness. They did their thing, and we always had clothes on our back. And I think the 2 to 3 jobs of working like that, the fear of aging is a big in America. It's we don't take care. I don't want to say we don't take care, because we live in a kind of a capitalist society, but the effects of being able just to maintain is some point one of a fear of trying to stand a quote unquote, as you say, a materialistic society from a materialistic point of view. So as when you're getting improper sleep and proper dieting, no time off, that makes aging look a little scary.
It just depends on what position you are in life. As a parent, the concerns I had, I don't want to say it was extreme fear, but if you're raising children in today's society, you worried about whether your children are going to be safe when they leave home. You say at school age, whether they're going to make it home, based on human trafficking, children being snatched, people shooting up schools, or your child that could be a victim of a bullet, a stray bullet. And these are situations like where I was born that were in Detroit at the time my children were going to school. These were actual realities I'm talking about. It's not just something that's nebulous.
Right. So tying that fear into the topic of high blood pressure automatically stimulates high blood pressure.
That's just one thing. And so then if you're a parent, I'm just speaking like if you're in a position of being a parent.
Right.
So you're worried about it. You have school age children. So that's a concern on top of survival every day and paying bills and those types of things.
That lifestyle, the economics.
So then the actual concern, I won't say a fear, but a concern of keeping yourself healthy so you can go to work every day to maintain your household and your family, because if something happens to you, if you're the breadwinner, then that can affect the whole family. So that might, I would say, be, if it's not an actual fear, it's truly a concern. That's just that age group. And we can say that the high amount of, a lot of times people don't want to bring this up, but children being abused. So if you're talking about people, young adults that don't necessarily have power or physical power or control to control their destinies, we have a high amount of molestation and abuse in our community, which a lot of people don't want to talk about. But in the position I'm in, the number of people that I've counseled, when I look at the root cause, is abuse, which is something that needs to be. So for a child, that becomes a fear. And that fear compounds through their life, that it can eventually lead to what people might call various cancers and various imbalances, because it becomes a collection of things.
So time, so much is dealing on fear. Lifestyle you can control somewhat, and it's tied back to economics. But the fear is as real, because watching news,
that's right,
will keep you thinking always something about to happen to you that I don't even really partake on news.
So I'm glad you brought that point.
I get tired of it, because I don't need that in my ear gates 24/7. I don't know how people do it, to be honest.
The ears connecting to the kidneys. So listening to negativity, hearing negativity, talking and arguing with people and cussing at people, saying negativity. When you look at a collection of that, especially in our community, from negative lyrics, negative social media, and the way in which we basically communicate most in general, that in itself also leads to a psychological fear, but it also leads to a worry and imbalance that can lead to especially diabetes too, which is based off stress and anxiety.
Right. Give us an example of the practitioner, because I know if I go to the local doctor here, they're going to say, well, maybe you apprehensive, or maybe you have some trauma, and maybe you need something to calm you down. So they're going to give you some calm me down medicine. I used to teach exceptional student education at one point for about 3 or 4 years. And that was a quick go-to. And you wonder why the kid so calm today. And that calmness came from medicine being prescribed. Give an example on what would a practitioner do to help one overcome that fear, to help manage blood pressure.
One thing is just understanding mindfulness, which is not meditation, is mindfulness, just to be able to sit still and allow the masses of thoughts that run through our mind to be able to allow those thoughts to dissolve, so we have a form of clarity. And that's just a matter of sitting and keeping the tongue, because that stimulates the nervous system, at the roof of the mouth, keeping your eyes open actually, and just sitting and putting your attention on one positive thing, not trying to stop your thoughts, and just staying present and just breathe, and that's it. In the Bible, in Psalms, they have the verse, "Be still and know that I am." So
I'm thinking you would close your eyes for meditation when you got in that position, and you said,
but this is not meditation here. Right. This is still, we haven't gotten to meditation yet.
Okay.
We're just talking about stilling the mind.
Got it.
And not focusing on, you just put your mind on one positive thought, one prayer, affirmation of your personal choice. So that way you don't focus on the other thoughts that come in. Because usually when people first sit, they say so many thoughts come in, it's hard for them to sit there. So put all your attention on one thing and don't pay attention to the other thoughts, and they eventually dissolve. The key to this is doing this every day. 1 or 2 minutes here, 1 or 2 minutes there. We have so much downtime, we can sit. Just like before I came on this podcast, I was sitting on the couch there. I was doing some sitting. Just allow my mind to become clear and allow the thoughts to dissolve. Not worrying about where I have to go, not worrying about what happened yesterday, not worrying about this, that, or the other. I'm just sitting and allowing my mind to, it's almost like we wash our body. This is a form of washing the mind so that the mind becomes refreshed. And then when I want to come out, I inhale up, drop the shoulders, and exhale and open the mouth. Just like that.
Okay, well,
that's that simple.
That's a breathing exercise. But those practitioners that you mentioned earlier, how much counseling is involved to help one identify their fears.
In energetic medicine, we are trained, like I say, we diagnose and work with the mind, the body, and the spirit, because we know that all three of those things have to do with any kind of imbalance or disease a person might have.
Okay.
And so, yes, there is a certain amount of health counseling that we do. And if there's something that's even more extreme, we do make referrals. And I do also want to say this. We are not against Western medicine, probably more, it's not so much Western medicine, but it's corporate medicine. But we're not against that. We say that it takes a village to educate a child, raise a child, it takes a village of various types of medical practitioners to heal a person. So we are asking people, or I'm appealing to people to get more than one opinion when you get a diagnosis from a doctor. Don't just take one opinion. Look at a couple different systems and see where if there's a commonality in what's being said, and then look at the various different ways of diagnosing, not only treating that particular situation. Okay, so one doctor might say we can get to this through this form of treatment. Energy medicine might have another form of treatment. And then you weigh it from that viewpoint. All medicines have certain values, because the main thing people need to understand, the human body is the human body.
Well, I think we have to get back to knowing that naturally God, the superpower, super being, made it naturally for it to heal itself. And I don't want to get into fasting, but we know when we go to sleep, there's a natural reset that happens on whatever it is, unless you went to bed drunk as I don't know what, with a hangover. There's no way the body can do its thing then. But my thing is what we didn't address before we that I don't want to do is the trust level.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we motivate, especially, high blood pressure affects women and men, but I know in the West, which is in America, we still have that stigma as Black men that, and I ain't going to that doctor. They that's off for somebody else. And then one of the things that may get your attention to say, hey, you carrying the wood now, but you carry that blood pressure, you're gonna be having a little gummy worm between your legs. So, but how, besides just saying the sexual organ, because that's what's important to most men anyway, regardless of which community they're in, everybody like to know they can still lay wood. Mm-hmm. But why is it so hard to motivate people to make that lifestyle change? The economics, I know they say economics impact, but sometimes less is more. So what I mean by less is more, it may not be nothing wrong with boiling those pot of beans and not worrying about the big 20-ounce tomahawk steak or the going out on the nice dinners. But how do we motivate us to say, hey, let's overcome our stubborn and put some trust in the system? And I like how you say that you got to analyze your situation. So you got a West doctor and you trying to encourage him to say, hey, listen to these practitioners and try to make a decision what's best, because they're not going to give it to you in the system of medicine. You got to go get it yourself. And the practitioners seem to be more aligned with the spiritual way of self-healing yourself and doing a better job of just managing the crisis before it gets to a point of no return.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm going to keep it simple as possible and universal as possible. Happiness is a very important remedy and key in the healing. And so find things that make you happy. I mean, really happy, not something that you're going to deal with stress. So you want to numb yourself through various intoxicants and things of this nature, or overeating. But we want to do some natural things, like go walk around the block, or go for a walk, go fishing, running will help. I'm going to recommend that people come to a yoga class or a Qigong class, or learn some basic Tai Chi movements, okay? Because they're therapeutic exercises. The next thing, people need to take their time when they eat. Even before I get into what you should and should not eat, take your time when you eat. At least take an hour and sit down and really relax and eat so that the food digests. Okay, there's certain times of the day that it's best to eat according to how the energy flows. That means the heavy food should be eaten before 12 o'clock, because the energy goes to the heart. The heart basically, the spleen makes blood, and that's between 9 and 11. And between 11 and 1, that's when the heart gets most of the energy. So statistics show that there are more heart attacks before 12 o'clock because people don't eat in the morning because of this cycle that we have. Remember, originally people worked, before we had the industrial age, people worked from sun up to sundown. I even remember that.
Well, they were known to get a big breakfast too.
Right. That's because we needed the food was fuel for us to work through the day.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is eating the heavy food at night now and then going to sleep on that.
Well, we're conditioned to have 3 big squares a day.
But
they tell you breakfast, they want you to have a lunch, and they want you to have dinner.
But most adults, okay, I'm speaking about, you asked me a question about the situation with men. Most adults that work, or even if they don't work, most adults don't eat breakfast. Most people are on the rush in the morning. They eat heavy food late at night.
They got to change their lifestyle.
So therefore, we need to go back to what is natural. We look at what is natural. Human beings weren't working at midnight and working 24 hours a day in 3 shifts.
That's why they call it the graveyard shift.
Yeah, right. Right, because remember I said the technological age. Before that, people worked from sun up to sundown. So therefore, you ate your heavy food in the morning so you would have that fuel to take you throughout the day, and you ate supper in the afternoon or lighter food before you went to go to sleep. That's one thing. Right. Another thing, people need to sleep at least 8 hours if they can. And if you work in the daytime or up in the daytime, you want to try to be to sleep. I'm working with some young folks right now, explain that to them between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, if you can, so that the body can rejuvenate itself, because it rejuvenates when we're asleep. Absolutely. So sometimes there's a lot of things we are missing, very natural things that cause a lot of these situations such as ED and other kinds of problems. So first we need to correct that even before we get into, am I going to take this herb, whether I'm going to take these pills and what have you to enhance that. Let's try to get back to resetting ourselves to how nature is outside of us.
Basically, I hear you saying that seeing a practitioner helps you go through the self-discovery of who am I.
That's right.
And that's what's going to make you happy.
That's right.
Of understanding your purpose a little bit.
Right.
And that's a valuable piece of the practitioners and what you're saying that they do that you're not going to get in Western medicine at all. You're going to get 30 minutes. Let's see what it is. We ain't got time to fix it for you, but here go a pill that we can get it.
That's right.
That's basically what I'm saying, the benefit of a practitioner. You're saying that, hey, have some common sense and know that this is out here for you, and it's not going to be on every block and corner, because at the end of the day, if it was on every block and corner, you feel like it'd be less need of, I ain't going to say Western medicine is not needed, because something can be innate.
It has the value.
It has its value.
That's right.
To it. But overall, some of the things that you recommend that for a lot of people, they can manage that a little bit better.
I'm recommending that people sit down and eat dinner with their family or and friends. I think that maybe people might eat a family dinner once a week, maybe. Most people don't.
Yeah, we done got away from that, bro.
Right. So there's a lot of healing in that. So that relieves a lot of stress. Plus you eating real food that helps nourish the body. In many of the situations that we talk about, such as diabetes, especially diabetes 2, that deals with stress, is relieved if we just sit down and eat collectively.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so these are just some basic things that we can do a reset even before you go to a practitioner. Or even if you go to a practitioner, they're going to suggest that you do the reset.
Right. Well, basically, just to kind of get to the next section with it, we understand that prevention and intervention really matters. But before we get out of here, since you do one of the practices, can you share with how you can be contacted with if somebody that's out there on high blood pressure that want to reach out and ask you some stuff off the record, or be able to leave some comments for you to maybe share how they're feeling, or say, hey, I got this blood pressure, that blood pressure, or this sounding of the mind. That's what I'm hearing at the practitioner. Like you say, you dealing with the mind, the soul, and the everything. So explain, how can someone find you if they want to link up with you, and
drkashakur.com is my webpage.
Dr. K.A.
drkashakur.com. That's
Mm-hmm.
one way. Another way, a person can email me at Padma, that's P as in Paul, A as in Apple, D as in dog, M as in Mary, A as in Apple, Shakur, SHAKOOR 96 at gmail.com. So you can email me with your questions and comments, or if you want to know more about exercises, energetic medicine, you can go to drkashakur.com.
And don't leave out, you mentioned, I don't want you to forget it. There's a radio station that you do a health talk. Please share with them for the local listeners and on what areas that radio station. I know it's a small black-owned radio station right here in town, and you mind sharing that? And when you have that health talk, where people can further find you on there to engage with you.
Yeah, that's 92.1 FM. 92.1 FM, which is commercial radio, is African American owned. We play classic soul music, and we have gospel on Sunday, and we have specialized show. I have a specialized show on late Sunday that plays reggae and funk and neo soul. But Monday through Friday, we have the health talk, which is aired 4 times a day on 92.1 FM Gainesville. For those people that are not in the Gainesville, Alachua County area, you can Google 92.1 FM and hit listen live wherever you might be, and you can listen to the station through your computer or through your cell phone.
All right. I know he left out one genre of music. So for all the young adults,
we have old school hip hop.
They want their whole hip hop. If you dealing with Dr. Shakur, that comes from the Conscious Corner, if it's not conscious rap, that station will not be playing it. So if you have your list of conscious rap, to flood the comments of his email with, go ahead and share it. But as you said, it's old school hip hop. So we can bridge the gap to say, hey, if you got something that's parallel to the old school hip hop, which is more conscious of teaching some things, please share that with Dr. Shakur.
And if you share it with me and it's conscious hip hop, and I listen to it and feel that it is conscious hip hop and current conscious hip hop, all right, I'll play it on my show.
This is a yes and no. Mm-hmm. And you tell me when you play it. This is a hip hop. Shake what your mama gave ya.
Just listening to that lyric alone, I would have to hear the whole song. I'm not against dance music.
Yeah, okay.
So dance music and having fun.
Yeah.
The issue is negative lyrics that promote negative behavior.
Right. We don't want to. Yeah. There's a code of conduct in it. Yeah. So self-destructive behavior.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that, because we want to invite any and all to that radio station, because it needs some growth. So with that being said, we're going to check out of here with you today. Prevention and early intervention matters. Hit the like, subscribe, and share. Please leave your comments if you want to find Dr. Shakur to get involved with energy medicine and listen to that perspective compared to if you don't have a perspective, especially if you don't have any health insurance.
That's right.
You can leave that out. For people that don't have health insurance, it seems like it makes sense to contact the brothers and sisters that are in those different practitioners that are trying to teach you how to manage your own health a little bit better without this giving you a quick fix.
We definitely try to deal with educating a person and preparing a person with enough information where we can deal with prevention, because many internal diseases, not all, but many, can be prevented based on proper knowledge, proper adjustment with lifestyle, and proper adjustment with diet.
All right. Thank you for joining us today again.
Thank you very much, Simon P. I appreciate being here.
No, you keep doing your thing, man. I'm honored to be with you. I call it the OG. And when I met this man, I say, man, y'all can't be taking this knowledge to the grave. And to see you have the courage to come up here and get involved, man, and want to share it. And I really hope people take the time and contact you and you meet some more friends outside of the outside of this Gainesville, Florida here, and fix people inside. You know, I'm hearing great things. Matter of fact, I go to the doctor tomorrow to put in for my request to the last person you took me to about the acupuncture, where they read your tongue and discover. So I'm on my journey. I ain't gonna just listen. I want to be optimize this right here. All
That's
of
right.
it.
That's right, brother. Thank you
Optimize
so
love.
much.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Blessings.
All right. We out.